What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video. Very exciting video here as we are one step closer to NFL football as the Patriots 2020 regular season schedule has officially been released. Along with their regular schedule, their preseason schedule has also been released, so I will be going over the full regular season schedule and their preseason schedule, talking about each game, the dates, the times, away games, home games, and really just my intentional thoughts. So I think it makes most sense here to start off with the preseason. Now, like always, we will have 4 preseason games to start off. 2 will be at home, 2 will be away. In fact, the Patriots will start the preseason having both of their preseason games at home, and then will end the preseason away. Sadly, this is just going to be another year where it looks like the Patriots' preseason schedule is almost like it always is now. On August 13th to 17th now, we kind of give a day between 13 and 17 just because they haven't figured out exactly which days that these are going to be for the preseason, but between those days is when the games will lie on. But for the preseason, 13th to 17th, the Detroit Lions will be coming to New England for our first preseason game. Now, the Lions aren't a team we play every year, but they are definitely a team it seems like we play every other year. The big thing that I will say about this preseason schedule is it is very, and I mean very familiar to the 2018 preseason schedule, except in 2018, the only difference was we played the Redskins rather than the Lions. Other than that, this preseason is the exact same. To me, it kind of sucks just in the sense that I wish that we could see some different teams coming into the preseason instead of always playing the same guys. Now, after the Lions game, the Carolina Panthers will come here to New England. We will host them on August 20th to the 24th. Seems like we play them every single year. Pretty good opponent. It's a game that I like, but again, I wish that we could get some fresh guys in here. Then moving on to week 3, we start going away. We will go to Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia Eagles August 27th to the 30th, a team that we played in the preseason just 2 years ago, and also played last year in the regular season. And then in our final game of our 2020 preseason, we will go to New York to face the New York Giants September 3rd to 4th. Nothing surprising here. They are a team that we literally face every single preseason, and it seems like we always end our preseason facing them also. So my big thoughts here on the preseason are going to be, obviously the first one being something I've said, kind of sucks we don't have new guys coming in here to play the preseason, but that's kind of whatever. But it will be some nice matchups for the Patriots. I'm happy that it isn't just a ride through for them in the preseason. I'm happy that they have some bit of tougher opponents to face. I think that's really important for them riding into their regular season schedule for 2020 just because of how tough it is. You know, the Lions aren't going to be a super tough team, but they have put together some nice pieces. I think that the Carolina Panthers also have some fair pieces put together. You move on to a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that they put together a lot of nice pieces, especially if the Patriots are going up against a guy like Jalen Hurts. I think that that could be very nice competition for them heading into the regular season. And then going on to the New York Giants, who also put up some nice additions to the team. I'm just going to say my preseason record here right now just for the fact that it makes no sense to put a whole nother video on for it. So I have the Patriots going 3-1 on their preseason. It's going to be tough because it's the preseason. We haven't really even heard much about the players from our team, let alone other teams, so it's kind of hard to mismatch. But I have them winning versus the Lions. I have them beating the Panthers. The Eagles game was tough. I could honestly see that going either way, but I do have the Patriots just a little bit higher here than the Eagles coming out with the win, and then them losing to the Giants in the final week of the preseason. For some reason, the Patriots versus Giants, it's always tough for them in the preseason. It's always back-to-back who's winning, but I think that, you know, the Patriots are going to rest a lot of their starters. They're going to pull a lot of guys out here, so it's going to be a lot of those third, fourth, maybe second-string players, and I just think that the Patriots will end up losing that one. But now moving on to what I'm sure everybody came and clicked on this video for, and that is going over their regular season schedule, the thing that ultimately matters in getting back to another Super Bowl. So I'm going to say some of the things that popped out biggest, especially from what I've been hearing on social media, the things that have popped out the biggest about our schedule, and then I will go over each game. So one of the biggest things here to note is that the Patriots have their bye week early this year. They have a week 6 bye week. Usually they have it somewhere in the teens. So this is very early, okay? It's going to be very weird for us. We're not used to having an early bye week. I've never been a fan of an early bye week either. I think that having it later in the season could be very beneficial for guys who need to rest up, and any players that are getting injured kind of have that time heading into playoffs where it most matters. But this could potentially be good. Look, if the Patriots are at a position in weeks 1 to 5 where they're not doing so hot, then that could be a time where they regroup and figure everything out to try to, come back for the rest of the season, guns blazing. Now, the thing here also is that when they come back after that bye week, they will be going up against, going up against the San Francisco 49ers. They will be coming to Gillette Stadium. That's going to be a big game, and that's going to take a lot of preparation. Next thing to note here is that the Patriots will be staying in the West when it comes to December. They have back-to-back games in LA. They face the Chargers on December 6th, and then they go ahead and they face the Los Angeles Rams on December 10th. If I'm the Patriots, I'm not even worried about going home at that point. I think that they should just stay there and just get as much preparation done in LA as they can. Find another facility that you can go in, but I think that it just makes more sense because that's only 4 days. Then you mix in the fact that it takes in at least 2 days for them to kind of travel, get everything in order. I just think it makes more sense for them to stay there for those 2 weeks. Now, next up here was a very surprising one. Okay, that's the fact that the Patriots have 5 primetime games. Very intriguing. Nobody expected the Patriots to have this many primetime games for the lone fact that Brady's gone, Gronk's not here. Essentially, right now, all we have is Edelman. So the fact that the NFL thought that we're intriguing enough still to give us 5 primetime games, I think is really interesting. So that is something 100% to note. Something else here is more so for the fans, people who want to watch Tom Brady on the Bucs, but also want to watch the Patriots. Essentially, you don't have to worry about that for the most part of the season because the Patriots and the Buccaneers have different times that they're playing games in each week up until week 15. So essentially, for the majority of the season, you can watch the Patriots play their full games and also watch the Buccaneers play their full games if for some reason you're somebody that's on both bandwagons. And the last thing here to note is the fact that for the 4th straight year, the New England Patriots will go back-to-back finishing at home, basically just meaning that for their final 2 games, they will be at home, which I think will be very nice type of, at home, rest up, not have to worry about traveling type of vibes. So now let's move on to each game, go over the date and time. Is it a home game? Is it an away game? Kind of my thoughts on the game also. I do want to say, guys, I will not be doing my record prediction right now. I just don't think it makes much sense to do it. We don't really know much about the Patriots right now. We don't know much about the other teams, kind of because of this whole thing going on around the world. What's going to happen this offseason, we don't essentially know. I always do my record predictions closer to the start of the season when we know more about the Patriots players and how they're playing along with the other teams to get a more accurate prediction. So starting off, the New England Patriots get to start the season at home. I love this. I quite honestly was kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to start at home. I think starting at home could be a very good way for the New England Patriots to start the season, especially with all the uncertainty that they have. So September 13th, it's going to be a 1 o'clock game. The Miami Dolphins are going to be coming to New England, okay? We get to see Brian Flores again. Tua's going to be starting his NFL career in New England. But of course, we also get to see a lot of familiar faces. We get to see Kyle Van Noy, Landon Roberts, and so much more because the Miami Dolphins are basically just a replica of us, except the Walmart version. This game is definitely not going to be just some walk in the park. Of course, it is week 1, so usually at that point, it's just coming down to which coach is more prepared. Now, the thing here is that Brian Flores does know the Patriots. He knows the system, so that's going to be an advantage for them. You also mix the fact that they have a lot of former Patriots who also know this system. They've added a lot of nice pieces here too. They've really vamped up that offensive line. They added Jordan Howard, a nice running back piece there for sure. Adding cornerback Byron Jones in free agency, going to be a guy who is able to lock down at least one of our receivers. So it's definitely going to be an interesting game to watch week 1. Now, week 2, the Patriots are already going away. They will go to Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks on September 20th at 8:20. A Sunday night game. I'm definitely excited to watch this one. Going to Seattle. Seattle's not an easy place to play in. Pete Carroll, super smart guy. Russell Wilson, one of the best and elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Super versatile. I think that essentially this game is really going to come down to the Patriots defense. If the Patriots defense is able to really limit Russell Wilson and their offense, which is going to be a big competition for them already in week 2, then I feel confident about this game. Now, a week later for another Sunday game, the Patriots are able to stay back at home, and the Oakland Raiders are going to be coming to New England. We will be hosting them September 27th at 1 p.m. Another very interesting game here. I think that Gruden has put together some nice pieces, especially I think that they've upgraded since the last time we played them in 2017. They've added some nice pieces. I like some of the additions they've added. Is it going to be enough to beat the New England Patriots, though? I think that the New England Patriots will still be able to sort of fool out Derek Carr as long as he is still their starting quarterback by then. I would be a bit surprised to see Marcus Mariota, the starting QB, though, already in week 3. Now, a week from that, it will be another Sunday game, and October 4th at 4:25, the New England Patriots will be heading to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a tough one. Okay, this is where the New England Patriots could easily take a loss. Patrick Mahomes, the defending Super Bowl champions at Arrowhead. It is going to be a very, very tough environment, especially for the rookie Jared Stidham. Hopefully that these players will come back with vengeance, especially N'Keal Harry and especially Bill Belichick after they were given a loss that game was respectfully should have been won by us last season. But 100% it is going to be a tough game in week 4. Definitely an exciting one, but one you're going to have to keep your eyes on and bring your popcorn because someone tells me we're not going to be leaving our couches very often. Now heading into week 5, the Denver Broncos are coming to New England. We will be hosting them here in Boston on October 11th at 1 p.m. Another Sunday game. An interesting one. We haven't played the Broncos in a good amount of time. The Broncos used to be a team that we were always facing, more so in the Peyton Manning days. And when Peyton Manning was the quarterback, this would be the type of game where it could go in any direction. Honestly, I can't say exactly what the Broncos are going to be. Drew Lock is a nice addition at quarterback, but they really kind of plugged him in towards the end. So what exactly he is, what they're getting from him, we don't know 100%. They have added some nice pieces. They did add Boye after losing Harris. They also picked up some nice receivers via the draft. But I think it being at home could be a big advantage for the New England Patriots. And essentially, up to this point in the season, games have been back-to-back in the sense that it's been home, away, home, away, home, away. But after this game, of course, week 6, that is when our bye week is appeared. Now in week 7, after our bye week, we luckily, I should say, get another home game coming off of that bye week, and even after that home game versus the Broncos, as we will be hosting the San Francisco 49ers, the losers of this past Super Bowl, on October 5th at 4:25 p.m. Again, this is going to be a very tough game for the New England Patriots. The 49ers are a very well-rounded team all the way from offense to defense. It's going to be very tough to win this game. Bill Belichick is going to have to scheme the heck out of this one. Jimmy G, though, finally coming home to New England where he started his career, is going to be an exciting game. It's going to be a nail-biting game for sure. But yeah, on the Patriots schedule this upcoming season. Now, week 8, we will be going away. We'll actually be heading to Buffalo to play the Buffalo Bills on November 1st at 1 p.m. Finally getting back into those divisional games. It's 100% going to be a big game for the Patriots. Of course, it being a divisional game, everybody's saying that the Buffalo Bills are taking over the East this season. Let's see how it's going to pan out that week. November 1st is going to be a big telling week here for the Patriots on kind of how that whole division situation is going to work out. Now, that following week is another away game for the Patriots as they will go to New York to face the New York Jets November 9th at 8:15, and that is going to be a Monday night game. Back-to-back division games, of course. What honestly have the Jets done to get better, for lack of better words? I don't think that they're at a point where we should be biting our nails about winning or losing that game. So I definitely think it's one of the more easy games on the Patriots schedule for this upcoming season. They definitely did upgrade their offensive line a bit, which was a big issue for them, especially in last season. But I still think that the Patriots get great pressure on Sam Darnold, and I still think that he's going to be seeing ghosts this upcoming season. Moving on to Week 10, the New England Patriots will be back at home, and they will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens November 15th, 8:20. That is going to be a Sunday night game. Another very tough game here for the New England Patriots. We all saw how they faced against them this past season. Of course, that was in Baltimore, but they did end the Patriots' winning season. Hopefully, they'll have a better plan to contain Lamar Jackson, but yeah, 100%. This is going to be a tough one, but I think another big advantage is going to be the fact that, hey, we're able to be at home. Now, moving on to Week 11. The New England Patriots are going to be going away. They'll be traveling to Houston to face the Houston Texans November 22nd at 1 p.m. In years prior, the New England Patriots have always smashed the Houston Texans, but this past season, they got the best of the New England Patriots. Hopefully the Patriots can get it together. It is an away game. We're traveling to Houston yet again, so we're going to be at their house. Hopefully we can pull it together. Going to need a big game from the defense, and hopefully Jarrett Stidham can put some points on the board offensively, but going to be another game to watch. Going to be a big one on the season. Moving on to Week 12, this will be the final game in November. The New England Patriots get to stay at home. They'll be hosting the Arizona Cardinals November 29th at 1 p.m. Of course, another Sunday game. Normally, this would be a no-brainer. The Patriots would be smashing the heck out of the Arizona Cardinals, but the Cards definitely have pieced together some very, very nice pieces. The big thing here is going to be that offensive line. Kyle Murray is a good quarterback, but he's never been able to stand up straight because he's never had a single second where he's been able to stand up straight in his pocket. They've addressed that offensive line definitely this offseason, but have they addressed it enough is going to be the question. If they haven't and the Patriots can take advantage of that, then it's going to 100% be a win, but they have added nice pieces that we should be remembering also. They got Isaiah Simmons, great pickup by them. Definitely a great offense, though, here when it comes to the receiving game. DeAndre Hopkins, the Patriots are going to have to face Hakeem Butler, Andy Isabella, Larry Fitzgerald. It's going to need to be a big game from the secondary, and it's going to be super hard for them to be able to shut them down, but definitely a game that I'm looking forward to see their offense versus our Patriots defense. Now, moving on to Week 13, the New England Patriots are going to have to pack their bags pretty heavily because they're going to be spending a good amount of time here in Los Angeles. First game here in December, the New England Patriots will be going to LA on December 6th at 4:25 to face the Chargers. This is going to be another interesting game. Who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Chargers, okay? It's going to be later in the season, so it definitely could switch up from who they decide to take in for the beginning of the season. Is it going to be Tyrod Taylor, who the Patriots have a lot of familiarity with, Or by then, are they going to put in Justin Herbert, the new quarterback that they drafted this past season? Another team that has some holes, but is still a well-rounded team, has some good coaching. They, of course, got Kenneth Murray in a trade that they had with the New England Patriots to acquire our first-round pick. Is he going to be a factor in that game? Going to be an interesting one to watch here. Now, after that, the New England Patriots, like I mentioned earlier, will be staying in Los Angeles as they now will be playing the Los Angeles Rams. And hopefully the Patriots are able to get comfy in that stadium the week prior, because they'll be playing in the exact same stadium in both weeks. Something to mention, though, is that this is going to be a Thursday game. The New England Patriots are going to be on a very tight schedule. They're going to have to get it together very quick. Only going to have a couple of days, essentially, to get it together, which is why I said I think that the best case scenario for them is to stay in LA and kind of find a workout space rather than going home, because in that case, they'll probably have just one day to really scheme and get everything together. Definitely excited to see this game versus the Rams. Haven't played the Rams since we beat them in Super Bowl 53. They have lost a good amount of pieces since then, of course. Won't be seeing Brandon Cooks, won't be seeing Sue. But for sure, still a nice, well-rounded team with some really good pieces. The Patriots are going to have to bring their A game still on this one, but an exciting one for sure. Now, after this, the New England Patriots will be having their third straight away game as they will be traveling to Miami in Week 15 on December 20th at 1 p.m. By then, maybe the Miami Dolphins have finally got themselves together from the beginning of the season when we saw them all the way to essentially the end of the season. Patriots don't really play well in Miami, so I think we all might know how this one goes down. It's also worth mentioning that for the rest of the season, the Patriots do play in divisional games, as their final 3 games of the season will be divisional games. So moving on to Week 16, December 28th at 8:15, which is going to be a Monday night game for the Patriots, they will be hosting the Buffalo Bills. Of course, another interesting game here to watch. These divisional games, of course, are very important. Like I mentioned earlier, it's important for the Patriots to hop on and beat the Buffalo Bills early, just because it's been a divisional rivals and everyone's saying, hey, the East is now going to the Bills. What are the Patriots' response to that? Looking how tough the Patriots' schedule is, being one of the toughest in all of the NFL, and being towards the end of the season, again, going to be an important one for the New England Patriots to win here against the Buffalo Bills. Being at home, going to be a nice advantage. Now, the final week, Week 17, the Patriots will be hosting the New York Jets. And I feel like this is also something that the NFL does a lot, putting the Jets at the last game for the Patriots and it being a home game for the Pats. But hey, I'm not complaining. Should be a fairly easy win here by New England. January 3rd, 1 p.m. game to finish out the season. Hopefully they can finish it out strong. Should be a good game for them to essentially be able to win. Now, will it be a game where they're resting the starters for the playoffs? Or will it be a game that we're all hoping we win so we can just end of the season seeing our Patriots for the last time and just have all smiles? That's going to be completely up to them. But it's going to be an exciting season, guys, for sure. There's going to be a lot of crazy games this upcoming season. You know, the Patriots usually have a few of those to the point where, you know, now and then we're kind of biting our nails watching these games, but it seems like that's going to be the case for most of our season. You know, playing the Seahawks, playing the Chiefs, playing the 49ers, playing the Ravens, playing the Texans. These aren't going to be easy games and just a road to the playoffs. But what are your guys' thoughts on the release of our 2020 NFL Patriots schedule? I want to know what you guys are thinking. Of course, my schedule predictions, or my record predictions rather, will be coming out a little bit later. But I want to know what you guys are thinking about for these games. Which do you think will win? Which do you think will lose? Which are the hardest? Which are you looking forward to? Let me know what you're feeling in the comment section below. Like this video, guys, as it helps me and the channel out a lot. And subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.
In Astroworld.